Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram, welcoming you to the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019, the 12th edition of the World Cup. And today was the first match of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019 between hosts England and South Africa. But before I start, and England, the hosts England, were the victors by a margin of 100 odd runs. But before I go there, I would like to apologize to all my cricket fans and followers of cricket happenings who have been loyal to me. I understand that I've been away from this cricket happening show for quite a long time. Only you might be seeing me on Twitter, but that is due to some tough situation with me here, and unfortunately, that's the precise reason. Someone was sick, and it was very difficult for me to come in. But well, I'm back. I'll try my best. Even then, the situation is still prevailing. It's not at over, but I am definitely with you. So Twitter is something which I'm always there at. But as far as the YouTube cricket show goes, I might be sporadic, but I will try to see to it, as this is the World Cup, that every day I come and say a few words on the game. Probably not in a long manner, probably in a very sort of a gist of the match. So today, let's look at what happened. So today, as I'm talking to you, we are talking about the first match of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019, which kicked on at the Kennington Oval in London, 30th of May 2019, the 12th edition of the ICC Cricket World Cup, and the match was being played between England, the host, and South Africa. And as you know, England will be definitely gunning for that World Cup come the day on July 14th, and they have been definitely, the cricketing experts have tipped them, and they definitely lived up to their billing today when England won the match against South Africa by 104 runs. So England have started off on the very, very right note in front of their home crowd. So South Africa were the ones who actually won the toss, and they inserted the Englishmen into bat. And if you look at the innings, and one thing that the Faf du Plessis, the South African captain, did was surprised everybody by giving the new ball to none other than, it was a real surprise of, I think it was the biggest surprise of the World Cup, giving the first over to the very exciting leg spinner Imran Tahir. And Imran Tahir, let me tell you, he gave great joy to the crowd which had assembled for the World Cup, as he picked up Jonathan. As you know, Jonathan Bairstow is a very dangerous player, and he picked up the wicket of Jonathan Bairstow with the second ball of the ICC Cricket World Cup. Now, this was a ball from Imran Tahir, where Bairstow actually lunged forward, and the ball actually took the outside edge of the bat, and Quinton de Kock behind the stumps taking, and there was a lot of celebration. You know, Imran Tahir is someone who is quite an animated character, and he runs all across the park, as you all know. So today he did that the same. His arms were spread wide, and he went on running so that nobody could catch him, and then he blew that kiss that he normally does. So this is what Imran Tahir is. So it was a sort of a wonderful, I mean, I would say, not a wonderful start, especially for the host England, but on the other hand, it was a great start to the World Cup, with Imran Tahir becoming getting the privilege of taking the first wicket of ICC Cricket World Cup 2019. And Jonathan Bairstow was a big fish that they got through. As we all know, Jonathan Bairstow has been in some peak form. We saw him against Pakistan as well, but today he was dismissed for a blob. And the England score, read 1 for 1, with Jason Roy taking a single. Now, the one thing that we would like to talk here, when du Plessis did this particular move, I can only remember remember the World Cup, where today that man, I would say his name is Martin Crowe, is the late Martin Crowe, who passed away, as you all know, from New Zealand, and that was the World Cup which was held in Australia, New Zealand, and Martin Crowe was the one who actually sprung a surprise in that World Cup by bringing Deepak Patel, the right arm off-field ball, and here we had a different dimension with Duplessis probably springing a surprise by getting Imran Tahir. Well, definitely Imran Tahir took that wicket, and at least so that was a great start for South Africa. According to me, and South Africans were the ones who inserted England into bat after winning the toss. After that, if you look at the card there, some very good contributions with Jason Roy making 54 of 53 deliveries with contained 8 boundaries. Joe Root making a compact 51 of 59 deliveries with 5 boundaries. Morgan chipping in. There was a time when the Englishmen were in a bit of a real bother. The score at 111 for 3 at the 20th at 19.1 overs. But then Morgan and Stokes were the crease. Morgan and Stokes slowly chiseled together a very good partnership to take them out of that very tough situation, and finally both actually put on 105 runs partnership to take the score on to 217 with the contribution from Morgan being 57 of 60 deliveries, which included 4 fours and 3 sixes. Ben Stokes was the one then, the owners definitely fell on Ben Stokes to take the innings through after Morgan departed with the score on 217 in the 37th over, 13 overs to go. Ben Stokes, well, Butler could not continue. Butler was clean bowled by Ngidi for 18 of 16 deliveries, and then Moeen Ali holed out in the deep for 3. Chris Wokes got a good delivery from Rabada, which he could not resist, and he was gone for 13, and it left and Ben Stokes was the one who really took on, and he was there almost till the end, till the 49th over, and he finished with a highest score of 89 of 79 deliveries, which included 9 boundaries, and that's the precise reason England stood on a score of 311 for 8 after 50 overs. Plunkett was not out on 9 of 6 deliveries with 1 boundary, and Jofra Archer not out on 7, making his World Cup debut, and he was the man to watch, no doubt about it, as I'll be talking about it as we go along. Now, looking at the card there, we are looking at the bowling card from the South African. We are looking at the bowling card from the South African bowlers. Imran Tahir had 10 overs, 2 maidens, no maiden, 261. Lungi Giri also. Lungi Giri, Rabada, and Imran Tahir were the ones who leaked runs, but nevertheless they also picked up wickets. So Giri 10 overs 3 for 66, Rabada 10 overs 2 for 66, Pretorius 7 overs 9 for 42, Felikwayo 8 overs 1 for 44, Domini 2 overs 9 for 14, and Markram bowled 3 overs for 16. Now South Africa were given a target of 312 runs to win the match from the 50 overs, and I can say that the start was, in fact, the start was not so good. The news was not so good because Markram and it was De Kock and Amla opening the batting, and Jofra Archer was making his World Cup debut. There was a huge roar when Jofra Archer came on to bowl there, and I mean, I know Jofra Archer has this ability to really ramp up the pace, and he can surprise the batsman, and that's what he precisely did. In fact, he hit Hashim Amla on the grill of the helmet, which forced Amla to retire hurt, and he went back, and then Markram came out. But Markram was the first victim of Jofra Archer, his first wicket in the World Cup, his maiden wicket in the World Cup. Again, as you saw, Jofra Archer basically relies on extra bounce and got some nip of the seam as well, as Markram was onto the back foot trying to push the ball with an open face, but he edged it to Joe Root in the slip region. So Markram was gone, and Jofra Archer had got his first wicket of the World Cup. So that was wonderfully done. First he hit Send Amla retired hurt, and then he picked up. So Archer started well, and Archer also surprised Faf du Plessis with a beautiful bouncer. And this is again Archer showing his class here he and du Plessis went on to the pull shot, and the ball spiraled in the air, and Moeen Ali took the catch, and du Plessis was out for 5, and the South African had not started off well. They were 44 for 2 in the 10th over, facing a huge total to chase. But the other end, Quinton de Kock was flowing in beautifully. He was playing his strokes in a wonderful manner. As the next player to come was Vander Dussen. Now, actually Quinton de Kock, and yes, Vander Dussen came in, but Quinton de Kock showed some good aggression with the knock, and he was the one who was not in any sort of any botheration, even though I thought he negotiated Archer well as well, with Quinton de Kock's contribution being 68 of 74 deliveries, which included 6 fours and 2 sixes, and Plunkett was the one who picked up the wicket of Quinton de Kock. Du Plessis, so that made the score, and then we saw Vander Dussen coming in. Vander Dussen definitely playing his first ever World Cup. Really impressed. He gave good company, I thought, to Quinton de Kock first, and he did a good job in contributing 50 runs of 61 deliveries, which included 4 fours and 1 6. And de Kock, as I said, he made 68 of 74, 6 fours and 2 sixes. So that was as far as this. And Vander Dussen, as I said, definitely impressed in his first game, and he was also a victim of the bowling of Jofra Archer. Now Jofra Archer, he really had a great match, and especially playing in his first match of the World Cup, he did a wonderful job for his team. As there was pace, there was bounce, and Vander Dussen tried to take on Archer, and it was a wicket for Jofra Archer, and that was the score. When the score at 167 for 6, so definitely, Jofra Archer had really done a great job, and then it became increasingly difficult as Duminy went to the bowling of Ali for 8. Pretorius was run out for 1. It was Pretorius' mistake that he went on for the run, and he had to pay the penalty. Philip Wayo making 24 of 25 with 4 boundaries, but then the challenge was truly gone. Rabada was out for 11 of 19 with 2 fours. Lungi Giri was not out on 6. Imran Tahir out for naught. And that was the end of the match, with the South Africans bowled out for 207. Could not face the full quota of 50 overs. They bowled out in the 40th over, 39.5 to be precise. As far as the bowling goes from the English bowlers, Chris Stokes 5 overs, none for 25, but Jofra Archer, take a look at his bowling figures, playing his first ever World Cup, and one knew for a fact that why he was preferred in this World Cup. He was selected ahead of Willie, and that was a great move according to me, as Jofra Archer definitely showed his wares in absolutely full measure here, as he went on to bowl 7 overs, 1 maiden, 27 runs and 3 wickets, and Jofra Archer has shown. And also let me tell you, Hashim Amla resumed after being hit on the grill of the helmet, but could not contribute much. He was victim of Plunkett for 12 runs. Adil Rashid 8 overs 1 for 35. Moeen Ali got a bit of a tap there, 10 overs 1 for 63. Liam Plunkett 7 overs 1 for 237, and Ben Stokes 2 for 12. But the man of the match going to Ben Stokes, and rightly so, because he was the man who was the bulwark of the English innings with his 89 runs that he contributed. So definitely great start for the host England by actually winning the first game of the World Cup, and there can't be a greater motivation for the home team aiming at the World Cup. As I said, England have never won a World Cup. They have come into the finals, but they have never won the World Cup. So this time the World Cup definitely beckons. As I said, the cricketing experts have tipped them as favourites. They're playing on their home turf, and this time I'm sure England are totally gunning for it. The English public is looking forward to this happening, but well, England definitely on course here as they won their first game. And as you all know, this particular World Cup is a World Cup where every team has to play every team. So each team will play the other team once at least, and so there are 10 teams all along, and you can understand that every team has to play the other team. So it's a sort of a great World Cup according to me, and just gives me some time to just go over a few things here. I'm not going to go into any nitty gritties here, but let me just talk about the Ben Stokes catch. What a catch! I thought that was the catch of this particular match. No doubt about it. What a catch from Ben Stokes! It was the I thought it was the catch of JP Domini, because if I don't say that, that would be something. Okay, sorry, that was not the catch. The catch that Ben Stokes took was the catch of Feluquayo, I reckon, because Feluquayo was looking a bit dangerous because he's an all-rounder. He can really taunt the ball around. Basically, Stokes was the one who took the catch when Feluquayo tried to launch Rashid into the open territory, and it was a sort of a strange catch because he was out. It was Ben Stokes outstretched there, reverse cupping his hand, his right hand, and my goodness, that was a catch which one could talk about for quite a long time. And Ben Stokes definitely showing what a wonderful fielder he is. I thought overall, if you look at the England fielding, I thought the English fielders did a great job, no doubt about it. But well, dear fans and subscribers, a pleasure bringing you the first match of the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019. Hope you all enjoyed this broadcast. As I said, I have a tough situation at home, and I will be trying to do, since it's the World Cup, I will definitely try to come and probably speak a few words. Pardon me if I'm not able to go the whole hog, but I will definitely try to hit on the salient features of the game, and that's what precisely I could do at this point of time. And I hope you all have a good understanding. I hope you all love this cricket broadcast of mine. With this being said, it's time for me to actually sign off from the show. That tomorrow's match, which is coming up, is Pakistan are taking on the West Indies, and there's a lot of hype around the West Indies, as you know, in this particular World Cup. Precisely, the experts have been speaking about the West Indies bringing a surprise. It could be the surprise packet of this World Cup 2019. Well, dear fans, friends, subscribers, with tomorrow's match, Pakistan take on the West Indies, I'll be trying to come back onto my studios and dwell on that particular game as well. With this being said, it's about time for me to sign off on this particular cricket show today. Thank you.